The roof of the third level on my cob house I needed to finish years ago. But year after year I didn't have enough time for that. But this spring I was brave enough to finally start it. And it was my best decision during that year. The structure and one side took me around 10 days. And actually it was super fast because all my materials were already prepared. It took me years to harvest enough sedge, rafters and rods. And finally the process is on the way. Also the process takes so long because everything is attached with vines. Here I try to do the same as people were doing hundreds or even thousands years ago. This is experimental archaeology, bushcraft and primitive technology in one project. In project that I'm living in, not just making it for the video. The rain could start every moment, so I needed to continue faster. This day was super cold, but it's good enough to make morning routine first. Kiwi Cat was also excited to start a new day. At 9 a.m. was time to give honor to my friends and other fallen defenders. In same moment I recognized that the bumblebee was caged in the house. It was really nice feeling to release it. Spring flowers was blooming everywhere. Here in Carpathian Mountains in that time you can literally smell the spring. But let's come back to experimental archaeology topic. This time I decided to build without gloves, to see how hard the skin of the ancient people was damaged. I guess the hope with which I will attach the siege will damage the most. The hazelnut rods were attached by vines and underbark from linden, and only then I could start with hop and grass. It's just special grass what is growing next to the river, not a traditional ray or reed. Roof like this can last from 10 to 20 years. The siege was full of dust because previous year the flood happened on the river. So usually it's much cleaner, so I don't really need mask. How it all were collected you can see in previous episode. Now we can see how Kiwi Cat sharpening her talons. Slowly, step by step, the process was moving on. During the day, I could finish only one layer. In one side, I needed 4, so it's around 4 days. With every new hazelnut rod, I felt the truth started to act as one. It's important to feel, especially if you know how hard wind can be in the mountains. I were doing one after one connection with underbark linden and one with vines from the river. During all that process, I was surrounded by amazing smells from natural building materials. By accident, one of the wild cucumbers stayed in the grass. I decided just leave it there. This evening, some neighbors were walking around. I think they were amazed by new structure. It seems like it should be the end of the working day, but it's not really. The truth is that in the same time I have many projects running here. This evening I decided to finish with replanting my khaki persimmon trees. Because if they wake up before I plant them, it's gonna be the problem. This is the rest from my previous nursery season. I thought I will finish during one evening, but I see it's gonna take much more. The dust from sage moved into the house from the broken window. Later I will do the great cleaning. But for now I were just trying to keep basic cleanup. The dust was everywhere and I was tired of that. But I didn't really have a choice, I needed to continue. This touching method is different than most of traditional ones. Here, half row covers previous row, and I could make only 3 rows. But as always, I wanted to do it better. That's why I decided to make 4. In the end, this roof will be thicker than the previous one. And I hope it's gonna get more views. Because to film all that, it was huge amount of work, running up and down all the time. Hope you enjoyed my effort. Finally, it was time for lunch. Just some rice with chickpeas. During second part of the day, the third row was almost finished. Next day I had a plan to finish everything. With this idea I got some extra motivation. The weather was changing, strong wind started to blow. More I wanted to finish, less time I had. I had other projects with plans that couldn't wait. In moments like this, the reality hits me the most. Long time. It really takes a lot of time. During that days, my hands without gloves were already not in the best conditions. Let's see how they will look in the end. I almost ran out of hope. Actually, it was a big luck that I had enough to build entire roof, because the old one on the trees is destroyed by freezing, and the new one will grow until July. That's why the last autumn I tried to collect all that I could find. Same with vines. But now it was finally the time to do the last middle level. And there is no hope to attach, only something heavy to put on. Also the material, it will be not the same grass what was used before. It will be different river grass that contains only leaves and was collected separately. The weather was changing. I wanted to rest for some minutes, but the thoughts about rain give no chance to it. It could start any moment, so I needed to move. Now I know how Kiwi Cat gets to the third level. Just using the oak branch. The last layer is the simplest one. I just need to place everything in different directions and then put weight on it. I really wanted to finish that day, but there is still really a lot to do in the garden. Also, sometimes it's better to no rush, especially when you work on top of the roof from where you can fall. Also, the possibility have rain was not so scary anymore. The next day, breakfast was really fast. For the first time, I tried sausages made out of grain protein, and it was tasty. Later I will take them out and will put just 3 lines of rope, because if its wooden parts fell, it's gonna be really dangerous. The bees was collecting last part of the water, and I was putting last part of my hay. It was time to do an haircut. I'm curious, does people of the Stone Age were doing that? Or only during the Iron Age they started to do it? And why? Also to make it nicer or with other reasons? Later all this grass will go inside of the cob. And the roof in general, in 15-20 years it will get rotten and I will turn it into the compost. But for now this is the great result based on years of my work and I am proud of it. The haircut was going not easy but well. What do you think about the result? Please let me know in the comments. I'm really curious about your thoughts. To creating one, I were destroying another one. Place where I needed to put a ladder was a bit destroyed. Also with fire many years ago, but this is story for another episode. If you think that this is final result, please watch until the end and you will be surprised. But for now it was time to clean my future guest room, the biggest room in the house. In general, it's still a lot to do. For example, fix the broken window and clean all the dust from inside that was let in. Also cut the rest of the hay and put it into the bags to use in the cob later. And trees, a lot of work with trees. I needed to plant 3 more orchards. Nice cherries, pears and apples, they were waiting for me. But first I needed to celebrate the level up in my cob house. And think about final step, the tower. Can I make it this spring or not? And yes, the hands was completely destroyed. It was time to try wash all dust away. Also finally to clean my working clothes. Also, time to make haircut, same as I did for the roof. And about my hands, the skin was deeply destroyed. But 3-4 weeks in nice gloves will fix that problem. Hard to imagine the life and hands of our ancestors. They didn't have gloves and cream for 2 times per day, like I try to do. And Kiwi that time was discovering new trees. This project is really long way and I'm really happy that you are interested to watch it. Also, I'm thankful to everybody who makes it possible. Thanks a lot for watching. It was Mark and my life in a cob house. See you in the comments and other episodes.